Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Ronsley, and this is episode 5 of my AI love affair. Today, we're talking about strategic partnerships, creating partnerships to grow your business. Come, let's learn. Hey, it's Ronsley. Welcome, you AI geek, to this podcast, my AI love affair. Consider this podcast your digital compass, guiding you through the labyrinth that is business growth using artificial intelligence. Running a business as a creative can sometimes be like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. But what if you had a secret tool that could align all the colors for you? That is AI. It's like a master key unlocking multiple doors. Thanks for being here. Let's learn. So if you're at a stage in business where you're thinking, I don't know how to identify my potential partners to grow my business, I don't know how to use AI to make this whole tactic come true, and I have actually struggles in integrating this whole partnership experience into my current workflow, then you're in the right place. Today's episode, we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about some principles that you need to apply. We're going to talk about the steps that you need to execute to be able to do this growth tactic extremely well. And we're going to talk about prompts, the prompts that you need to use to execute this and get this done at the speed of intelligence. So when it comes to partnerships, some of our fears are like getting the wrong partner on board, like concerns about the complexity of getting them on board, what kind of relationship that looks like, and how to maybe use AI. Does that even become part of the equation? And also, does it actually create efficiency and effectiveness? So let's talk about the 3 principles first so that we can break them down, and then let's get into how to execute this. Okay, principle number 1, the same target market, but no competitive overlap. Who are your partners? You'll be asking me, Ronsley, okay, let's start with how I can identify who my partners are. But the first principle covering just that. So who has your target market and serves the same audience as you do, but they do different things to you? Who has no competitive overlap with what you do, and they believe in collaboration? Those are the people that you want to collaborate with and you want to create partnerships with. It's quite simple. If they have the same audience as you, like they, for example, a high-end suit tailor would partner with a high-end watch company and a pen maker and a wallet company and good shoes. So the same person goes to all these different places. A business club, for example, probably, because most business clubs only let you go into with a suit. So those are things that I would put all together. So who has your target market, but no competitive overlap? Principle number 2 is mutual benefit, like making sure that this whole equation is mutually beneficial, not only to yourself, not only to your partner, but also to the audience. So if you serve the same audience, how do you create a partnership where you get what you want, your partner gets what they want, and your audience gets what they want? How can you create something that's so useful that everyone wants to be part of that? And again, if you're not thinking about a podcast in this situation, like you're missing a big trick in the book. But let's go to principle number 3. In principle number 3, we're talking about long-term relationships, and we want to make sure that you ensure transparency. If it's a cash deal, that you want to make sure that the money going up and down is clear. You want to make sure all that is accounted for. So you want to ensure transparency in what's happening. You want to have regular communication, put that in the calendar, and you want to make it easy for them to say yes, right? So those are the 3 principles: same target market, no competitive overlap, mutually beneficial partnership, and looking at long-term relationships. So like I said, the mistake to avoid is not having a podcast, because a podcast allows you to partner with the same target market, interview them that have no competitive overlap with you, and it's an easy way to say yes. There's so many other ways to say yes for a partnership. You can create a really good affiliate relationship. If you're looking at the best way for a sustainable partnership, I'm obviously biased, but a podcast will do that. So The mistake that I do want you to avoid, though, if you're like, oh, podcast is too hard, Ronsley, and I totally get it. The thing that I do want you to avoid is not having strict criteria of who your partners are or who they are not, and making sure that you stick to that criteria, even if it becomes hard to say no in some instances. All right, the steps to execute this tactic, the 3 steps. We first have to identify who the partners are. We then have to go and do some good outreach. And then we have to actually execute the partnership, right? So let's start with the first one, identifying the partners. Now, I put identify an intro because sometimes what is really easy to do is, not sometimes, most times, what is really easy to do is ask someone who already knows someone. So if you already know people who have the same target market as you and no competitive overlap, you're looking for an introduction or you're looking for an outreach. So you're trying as much as possible when you're doing the identification that this partner is not cold. And even if they are cold, there are so many easier ways to do that. And just understand that if they are cold, there are more steps involved to warm them up for them to partner with you. Okay. So to identify or make introductions to who these people are, the first step that I want you to do is make a list of 10 categories of partners. So 10 categories of people who have your target market and no competitive overlap. Then once you have those categories, like for example, if we're talking about myself as a podcast producer for business owners, then I know that my target market are business owners who content create. And then who do they already talk to? They talk to website developers, they talk to different types of business coaches, they talk to other software as a service companies, Dropbox. There's so many different people, business clubs, co-working spaces. My audience are in all those different categories. So I would categorize services, I would categorize accountants, I would categorize website developers or tech people. I would have a category of software as a service, like what software tools. And under those categories, I would have 5 subcategories. For example, co-working spaces in Brisbane, co-working spaces in Dubai. So these are places, because of my companies are in these locations, co-working spaces in the Philippines, co-working spaces in the United States, because my company and our clients are in all these places, like co-working spaces in those areas. Obviously, in my subcategories under co-working spaces. But then under accountants, it'll be accountants that specialize in business owners, accountants that specialize in freeing up, like reducing tax. They're lawyers that specialize in business deals. So there's all these subcategories. And once you have them, you start getting names and emails and information under each one of them. So that's step 1. Step 2 is actually do the outreach. The first part of this outreach is you send out an interest message and say, hey, we both have the same target market. We don't have a competitive overlap. Your people would benefit from my services. My people would benefit from your services. Are you interested to have a partnership or a collaboration? Once they say yes to that, then you send them a Loom video or a screencast of sorts where you're talking to the camera and you're giving them this pitch where it's like less than 5 minutes and you're saying, okay, here's the partnership. This is why this is beneficial for you. And this is why you should be on the show if it's a podcast. This is why you should be an affiliate partner if that's the case. And here is how to execute that. Once they say yes to the video, you say, here's how to execute. These are your next steps. These are the dates. Here's the copy. Here's the assets. You're making it as easy as possible to say yes, because that is so, so important. That's why the copy and assets are there. And then step 3 is actually partner. So once you have all those dates in place and you have the copy and assets, you got to make sure that you regularly communicate. This is probably the biggest one of all the steps in here. You have to have clear instructions and assets for your partner, and you have to have perfect reporting. So making sure that all those things are clear and you're ensuring transparency and you're making sure that this all is useful for your partner and for yourself. So now that you understand how this whole tactic works, let's talk about the prompts. All right. There are 3 prompts that I really want you to use to execute this particular tactic. The first one is you go and you say, hey, I'm looking for 15 brand partners. This is who my audience is. My partners are people who have my same target market, my audience, but they have no competitive overlap. And I want you to list for me the 15 brand partners, but also let me know what is the advantage for them, what is the advantage for me, what is the advantage for the audience in concern. So, and also how is the best way to partner, and let it give you ideas. And when it gives you ideas and you go, okay, this is not really what it is, then you go, hey, consider that this is some new information. Can you rewrite this 15 brand partnerships based on this new information and get that? So that's your first prompt. The second prompt is, now that you have the people that you want to send out these emails to and looking for partnerships, you want to craft the email and the video script to do the Loom video. So when you're doing your video to your partner and you're doing that, when they say yes, you want to have a script so that you're not having to rethink that all the time. So craft your email, do a template, write that into ChatGPT. You say, hey, these are my brand partners. I'm looking to make a partnership. This is the partnership I'm looking to create, where we have this affiliate, or they come on my podcast and they share my podcast with their audience. I share them with my audience. Whatever the partnership is, you're making sure that you're crafting those templates and those emails using ChatGPT, because you totally can. And you can personalize it to your voice. So you can actually put in a transcript of what you have spoken before and say, ChatGPT, can you please analyze my voice? And then use that voice style to write the email in your voice style. So you're going to save so much of time in the research and crafting the email to do the video script as well. And finally, make sure that you use ChatGPT and artificial intelligence to create copy, to create assets, create images using Midjourney. You can create some really interesting, realistic images using Midjourney. If you don't know what I'm talking about, follow me on Instagram or on Facebook or on LinkedIn, and you'll see in my feed some of the images that I have created using Midjourney. Or join us in the Discord group, because there's so many people there that would help you, and there's so much of new information in there. You get access to all my slides, you get access to all these assets that I'm creating and the team is creating for you on my AI love affair. So go to aigeeks.co/discord, join the group. If you're starting here for the first time and you want to get an idea of what the prompts are, what concepts are of artificial intelligence, go to aigeeks.co/level1. It's free. It'll just help you get some concepts and some ideas and some prompts to get you started so that you can wrap your head around artificial intelligence and how to delegate your business to artificial intelligence. Join me for episode 6, where we're going to talk with Amy Yamada. She is a legend. She's played a huge part in my AI journey, and I want you to meet her. Until then, love what you do what you love. Hey, AI Geek. Thanks for listening. Your job doesn't stop here. I want you to lend your voice to the conversation. So you can join those conversations, discussions, new trainings, new recordings, and the rest of the AI Geeks by going to aigeeks.co/discord. Also, share this podcast with a friend, another potential AI geek. Until then, much love.